Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Moments Girls Talk Nigeria. We're coming to you from our studio here in Lagos. Now, our topic for today is very interesting. Many people conceal their insecurities at work. Some deliberately put on the mask to project a particular persona. Are you ever really prepared for what comes after the mask drops? Today on Moments Girls Talk, we're going to be talking about dropping the mask at work. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey.
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 So, who's worked 9 to 5? Because 9 to 5 here.
I've had a bit of, my background, I did a bit of 9 to 5
Okay.
and before I got into the entertainment industry, but I don't think it's any different because even at work, you do have colleagues that you work closely with, and sometimes people are just not what they seem to be. You know what I mean? Like the office politics is the worst
It's the
politics
worst.
ever.
Yes.
It's like church politics as well. You know,
Just
certain
places where it shouldn't be.
It's just really bad. The hypocrisy, the fact that people are, out to get you. Sometimes they're smiling in your face. Sometimes they're gunning for your position. And it's just a dog-eat-dog world. And it's the same even in the entertainment industry. We are all colleagues, even if we don't have an office. We're all working in the same field. And there's certain people who have different masks, to your face. They're like, hey, Palinto, you're amazing, you're great. And behind your back, they're like, I want what she's got. I will do anything to get to the top.
I totally agree. I mean, for me, I've worked in a newsroom as like a news journalist on a news desk. You know what I mean? When I first started out, that's how I started. And I do totally agree that there is a lot of politics involved. And I think even, even for me at work, I was a bit of a different person because I felt maybe like I had to be a bit more calculating just in terms of, who do you tell this to? Who do you align with? Yes, it's a bit like high school, almost like, the
like
cool
high
clique,
school.
the mean girls, the nerds. There's always a clique and you have to have an alliance somewhere just so you're not left alone, in no man's land.
I had a brief experience working 9 to 5. I also worked as a copper in a proper office. I worked at an NGO and it was amazing because, as a copper, I didn't really know much of what was going on, but it was later I started to find a lot was what was happening when I became, smack in the middle of the office politics and I was the cause of a lot of things. And it was interesting because people who I was like, that's my person, they completely switched up and changed up on me. So,
Welcome to the world.
Exactly. We're going to continue this conversation, but our guests will be joining us. We'll be finding out what's happening in their lives, and it's going to be a good one because we're going to be talking specifically about the dynamics of navigating office politics and whether or not you should drop the mask.
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. Time to meet our guest. Yetunde Bankole Bernard is a professional image and relationship coach. She's a corporate image consultant trained in New York and Las Vegas. Currently the managing partner of PGL Image Consulting. And we have Mary Dinah. She is the founder of Job Link Recruitment Services, a human resource development company with a network of more than 200,000 job seekers in Nigeria. And with more than 800 companies as clients, she's also the Lagos State Ambassador for Tourism. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Welcome. Nice to
Hi,
see you
it's
guys.
nice to meet you guys. I'm really excited because our conversation today is about dropping the mask at work, and you both have a lot of knowledge in how people should present themselves because you do branding and then also you are an HR consultant. So first of all, let's start, and find out why did you even decide to start JobLink?
There was an incident that happened in Nigeria where about 5,000 or more people were looking to apply for a job and there was an assessment day and sadly, very sadly, there was a stampede and close to 7 or 8 people lost their lives. I was watching that on TV about 4 years ago, and I decided that really something needs to be done about the unemployment situation in Nigeria. So we set up JobLink Recruitment Services, which is now JobLink Foundation. For us, it's social entrepreneurship. We want to help people. We want youths to have access to free employability trainings, and also we do free CV reviews. And yeah, we've been able to impact lots of lives. Yeah,
That's amazing.
What about you? Fantastic.
Okay, me. I started out in PR, branding, marketing comms about 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And I sort of like transited, doing a 9 to 5 and finding out what was unique about being me. And then I just decided to search, and then, I found image consulting. So it's pretty much in the same line. I just decided to do like the corporate side of image consulting, not the like fashion or the personal style one. And then I was doing that for a bit, and then working with organizations, corporate organizations, you know, government and all of that, you realize that you are working with organizations, but you are working with people. And so it was a case of one-on-one. How do I really reach you? Okay, so it's about delivering value. It's not enough to say, oh, come and do this training for that executive presence, frontline, you know, all of those things. Right? So it became, how do I reach you as a person, and how do you become better at what you do? And so PGL Image Consulting sort of transited into my personal brand, which is the identity coach, right? So I am still a managing partner at the corporate organization, you know, the things that I do for corporate organizations, but I work in the Yetini Bernard company as an identity coach for individuals.
So, you know, I was interested because, you know, before we came in, I was asking you, I was like, oh, what kind of individuals would retain an identity coach? Because in my mind, it seems like it's more people maybe in the entertainment field, or maybe who have to be in the media in some way, who would need image consulting. But you were saying it's people from all walks of life who employ your services. Yes. So could you tell us a bit more about the type of people that you work with?
Basically, an identity coach is somebody that helps you with your doubts, your fears, your insecurities about self, about talent, about gifting, about purpose, and helps you to sort of like transit into monetizing all of those things. So it's for everybody, and it's for anyone. Do you understand? But you just have to be at that place where you have all of those questions and you're wondering, okay, what do I need? What do I do now with myself? And you know, initially, I mean, the funny thing is that we already talk to people about what do you think I can do? But you know, it's different when you get professional help.
Professional, definitely.
So basically, that's what I do as an identity coach with, you know, individuals.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, that's good then. That means that you guys are both gonna be able to say a lot today, because you both have you worked 9 to 5 before?
I have.
So you understand office politics?
Yes, absolutely. And with large companies as well. I started my career as a hotelier, which I still am. I have a hospitality consulting firm. So I've worked with the likes of Marriott and Four Seasons and international hotel groups.
Yeah.
It's a 9 to 5 job, it's very different. So yeah, I think definitely I can say a thing or two about work.
How about you, Yetini? Have you worked 9 to 5? Are you ready to chime in?
I did that for a bit. I started out, I think, my career in about 2003, and I stopped 9 to 5, 2010.
Interesting. Oh, okay, so you definitely have years of experience.
So I mean, I worked with different organizations.
And I think, I mean, I still work 9 to 5. So
you work more than 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an assumption that if you run your own company, you don't work 9 to 5. I absolutely work 9 to 5. I have an office, I resume in, and you know, I close at 5 with the rest of the team.
Very interesting, very interesting.
All right, the conversation is going to continue. We're going to be talking about dropping the mask at work, and that's going to continue after this. Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. Today on the show, we're talking about dropping the mask at work and knowing how to navigate office politics. And in the studio with us is Mary and Yetide, who are very, very well versed in handling such things. Okay, so the first time that I've experienced anything of this sort was I had a short stint at a company that sold online coupons. And pretty much I was a newbie, you know, I came into the company and it was new and everything like that.
In Nigeria, probably?
No, not in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I found that everybody, there was a clique, like you had said, that you had to belong to. You know, there was, because on my company, there was the minorities, so the black people hung out together. Then there was the techies, then there was the managers, and then there were the temps. And I was a temp. And it was interesting because there was one person in our group who was very adamant about not being part of the temp group because they felt that basically their goal was to become a permanent staff. Now, when you're in an office, do you feel like it's smart to be the teacher's pet? Like that person, people would have said, oh, this one is Ajayi Walker, like you're trying to, you know, be part of the permanent group. But the honest truth was that of all the people that were retained, it was him. He was retained because he did not identify and he did not hang out with us temps. So how can you strategically be a teacher's pet without being a teacher's pet and people like ostracizing you?
I think you generally have to play the politics at work. That's the truth. Still be yourself. But certainly first of all, there's nothing wrong with being a teacher's pet. I was always a teacher's pet growing up, literally in school. You know, so you just have to, you know, play the politics. I think be the person that makes friends with everybody, but also be very close to your managers, to the management, to the leadership team. And don't feel like, even if people make you seem like the geek or the outsider because you're so close to the managers, don't just ignore them and just focus on your goal while you're in the company, where you want to get to. Make sure you have a vision a 5-year goal and press on towards it.
Well,
That's very good advice.
This is the thing, yeah, because I heard everything she said, and it's all nice and dandy because that's how it should be. But let's just break it down and be real with ourselves. We live in a world where we all hear things like the sky is big enough, the sky is big enough. But do we really believe the sky is big enough when there's, you know, as she said, maybe there's only 5 slots for women and there's 15 women, and the clause come out. Regardless of how nice you want to be close to the bosses or close to your colleagues, there's a fine line between, you know, am I going to be loyal to these people because they're in my department, or do I just stick it out to them and just climb that ladder, not caring who I step on? And I find that in this part of the world, most especially women now, we have this notion where, you know, in order to shine, you feel the need to put out someone's candle. And I don't understand it. Like, why?
Yeah.
Yes, Dinah, what do you think about
I
that?
think that is really honestly about goals. What it is, so I agree with you on the goal matter. It's what it is that you're really looking for. But the challenge is, most times when you start work, I don't know about you, but you don't really have any goals. You're just working like, oh, okay, I got a nice job, let me just do this. And it's about being true to yourself. What is good to me? What is important to me? So if you want to be the teacher's pet, oh well and good, it's okay. If you don't care, it's fine. I think that people should just have the liberty to be themselves. Whatever works for you works for you. Whatever works for you doesn't have to work for the next person. However, it's just like the way life is. You cannot think that you step on toes and everything at the end of the day will be all nice and rosy. So you just really have to decide, okay, this is what I want to do, but what is important to me? Is it values? Is it people? Is it integrity? Then I go that way and it's okay. The thing about women putting people, I don't think is a women thing really. I think it's a human thing. Yeah, because I mean, I do have people talk about, oh, how women helping women should help. Guys, sometimes they do the craziest things. You wouldn't even believe that. They put you down, they do all those things, and then they make it like a joke and say, ah, can't you take a joke, big guy?
Oh, no, I get what you're saying. In terms of guys will always, when you're a female boss, for instance, guys find it hard to, maybe it's an ego thing.
Yeah,
they just believe that, okay, this woman is coming from nowhere. I personally tell this to everyone. I don't think Margaret Thatcher was a wicked person, but she had to have that mask at work because she was a woman who was in a position where men were used to working, and they probably gave her a tough time every day.
I totally agree. I agree. I used to have this female boss, sorry to interject there, and she was very masculine-ish, you know. She had short hair. No, seriously, you guys, she was very skinny, and she would come to work and she would just almost attack you, and you're like, ah, chill now. You know, it's almost like she felt like people wouldn't take her seriously unless she adopted a more masculine persona.
Or maybe on the way to where she is now. She's had men rate her, men feel like, why give her that position? And that would always be, but I'm saying that if we are now all in the know, why do we as women now feel the need to also tear ourselves apart? Because look, if you go ahead of me, the men are still going to look at you and think,
I think that's an identity thing. Again, it goes back to like, if you think that by sitting on her or by lying against her, you will move forward, that's on you. That means that you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in your ability to move forward without pushing someone back.
Sometimes, when those office environments promote such behavior.
And I think certain industries as well, like, you know, investment banking, and there's certain industries where people do have to be more competitive and more aggressive, let's be honest, in order to get ahead. People who are more calm and maybe introverted may not really do so well in those industries unless they adopt those character traits,
they have to stay in there.
You know what, Yesenia, that's a good question. We'll answer it after this break.
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. We're having a very interesting conversation. It's work, politics, regardless of wherever you are. When do the masks come off? If you need to wear, you know, a mask in the first place. And, you know, we've all shared our ideas. Some people believe that, you know, it's an identity thing. Some people believe you can stay in your lane. You know, but going back to what I said before we went on a break, we do know that there's some, especially in Nigeria, there's some hostile situations in some offices whereby you just cannot just be the girl that, even if you want to be an integrity person and you want to be
in the banking and marketing.
Banking most especially. There's that whole,
it's quite competitive.
Because you even sit in meetings where they analyze you in front of your colleagues. It's not a personal thing. It's not a you and your person you report to. It's like in the open, how much did you bring into this week? So it's almost like they put it behind your mind that you need this money to be promoted, and you cannot just be hanging around. So you need how do you maintain who you are in such a hostile situation?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think that, like for me, for example, I'm CEO, I'm founder of the company, and even when I was working with various companies, I was on the area team. So for example, the company I was working with, they had 5 hotels. across Nigeria, and then also a team in London, a team in Brussels, and I was maybe top 10 in terms of senior people in a company of maybe 2,000 people. And I'm particularly very soft-spoken and very smiley, very warm. It's natural for a hotelier. This is how we're trained to be. But I've learned not to change because of my position.
Oh, yes.
Because I refuse to be, masculine and, just forceful and all of these character traits that are really not me. And if I am all of those things, then I lose my ability to be a true hotelier, which is warm and friendly and smiley and welcoming. So now I've learned to just still continue smiling, even when I say, I'm sorry, you need to drop your resignation letter. I still continue smiling, even when I say, I can make tough decisions and maintain my persona. And if any of you watches House of Cards, Claire is the perfect persona. That's the persona you're talking about. So calm and simple and friendly and warm, but tough. And that toughness is inside. You don't have to wear trousers. I wear pink dresses.
I love
but
this.
Still very strong.
But I have to ask you, because I love what you're describing, and I can feel the warmth from here. But do you feel in our environment here in Nigeria that some people, look at you and think, she's a pushover because she's not shouting. There's almost that sometimes it seems like to command respect. I'm talking about our environment here. You do have to be pretty. You have to be aggressive and bold.
It's true that they assume that, but at the end of the day, I sign the checks. People that do that have something, they're insecure.
Yes.
I don't think so though, because you're in a position where you can say that because you're in the company.
Exactly.
But for someone who is working in a public organization who is also a boss there, who has someone to report to, if her team is not functioning well, they might not see it as you see it, which is fine. You're in your idea of you sign the checks at the end of the day. So even if I'm telling you you're fired in the lowest tone, you are fired because it's my organization. But when you work, which I think you wanted to chip into, so let me listen to you.
So the thing is, when you are in a particular environment and it's hostile, you really honestly need to make a decision. You cannot just be going home every day with all of those worries and all of those scares. You have to make it, is this where I want to be? Do I really have to be here? Is there something else I could do?
Is something
now,
else.
That's the thing. Unemployment is something else. But you see, I also, as an identity coach, I always say to people, there is something unique about being you, and that's why you are there in the first place. But you need to, by yourself, decide this is what is unique about being me and harness it and make it something that is worth selling in monetary terms. And so, I was saying to someone the other day, I said, back in the day, I remember if you were not a doctor, you were not an accountant, you were not, an engineer, you were nothing. My dad would say, you have to be you have to do these particular courses. And then we got a new crop of people who decided to just bail the cats and say, you know what, this is what I like to do. Let me just launch out and do this. I'm not saying everybody's an entrepreneur, but I'm saying that you need to decide what is unique about being you and step up to the game and step forward. It's okay. You don't have to be all of that timidity. It's not humility.
So
really.
what you're essentially saying is if you can't cope in the hostile work environment, to get out of it because there's
because
no way you can
there's no way you can
change
change
the environment.
The environment, and you cannot change ideally honestly who you are because you would always be unhappy.
There's personality and there's the ability to achieve your goals.
Yes.
And those are two very, very different things. So you could be soft and you don't have to change your identity to stay in a hostile environment.
Yes.
You can sit in the fire.
Really? You don't think so?
No, you don't have to change
I think you do need to be more assertive though.
I think it may consume you.
Yes.
I think it may consume you.
necessarily.
You do. There's certain things that
You know what,
could
guys?
do.
I wish we could continue. We're just gonna have to leave it at that, and hopefully our viewers at home can chime in and let us know what they think. How do you navigate a hostile office environment? Do you need to become more assertive,
or do you just?
Do you leave? Let us know. We want to hear from you. All right, thank you guys so much for coming. Before we let you go, we have a tradition here. We like our guests to share something with us that nobody knows about. So
Nobody.
well,
Kind of like a secret.
it could be a habit.
Yeah,
One
kind of
that's
like
a
a
secret.
Whoa.
Okay, so you first.
Well, I wouldn't call it nobody, but that some people know that I could sing, but they don't know how much I could sing. They don't know that I can actually sing
singer.
and perform.
Oh, like
Sing
on
like-
stage, like Celine Dion
sing
kind of
like-
Can you
thing.
belt us a tune? Come on, belt us a tune.
Yeah, now that you said it, you
No
have
way it's
to,
me that you
you know.
said it, and you're not.
So just
gonna
pick
sing.
your favorite song. Just say something. Let's just hear it.
Favorite song?
Who's your favorite artist, for instance? Who do you find yourself singing to in the bathroom when you're having a shower?
Wow, that is so personal. That I do spiritual stuff, so.
You can do spiritual stuff.
Tell me, you know what? Let me just take a line from something that I wrote for my
You
with
wrote
someone.
a song?
Yeah, you see, this is a secret. So, well, it's not a secret like that. Okay, so I accept myself. I believe in me. There's no doubt why I am here. I have come to know what my essence shows, and in being me, I am free.
I was getting India RE vibe.
Yeah,
I was.
No, that lady, you got a something car.
Tracy Chapman.
That's very soulful.
No pressure, Mary.
I mean, this isn't the secret, but in contrary to that, I cannot hold a note. So I'm,
Which is interesting because you sound like you would have a really nice husky voice.
Everyone has always told me, because I do voiceovers and so on, but I cannot hold a note, don't ask me to. But in terms of what people don't know about me, I play like 5 different sports.
Really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Squash, swimming, tennis, golf, basketball.
Golf. Wow.
Okay, that's
Interesting.
Extreme as well.
And I was on lots of different teams in school.
Okay.
So I was even on the running team as well. And I would win for running, I would win for all the different sports that we played. And I think that's definite. And I don't look sporty anymore.
Yeah, actually, I feel like you look a bit like I see you'd be like a netball kind of
That's
girl.
what, yeah, and cheerleading and things like that. No, but
yes.
I was running. I'm definitely the athlete.
Wow.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's so
you.
lovely to
Thank
have you
you.
on the show. Thank you.
All right, coming up shortly, it'll be time for In a Nutshell.
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. Our guests are out of the building, but I learned a lot on this episode. To think that we had image people and someone who's worked in HR, and one thing that kept coming out of everything they said is you can retain who you are. You don't have to lose your essence because you're working in a hostile environment, because society expects you to be a certain type of way. It's very difficult, but it's doable. I do agree with Bolanle in saying that you have to be a bit assertive sometimes, because it's not easy climbing that ladder, and there are people that are constantly ready to undermine you and undermine your authority. Now, but then once you climb the ladder, you also have to look out for those behind you and set a good example so that we can begin to change the narrative of this mask at work, being fake in front of your colleagues and trying to be the dog for the lackey for the bosses. At the end of the day, stick to who you are and pursue your growth and your goal. And if it's not working for you anymore, you can bounce.
Exactly.
Okay, I totally agree with you in terms of don't change who you are just because you're trying to, keep up with your office people or kind of, be the top dog at work. You have to set a standard almost and show that, by being who you are, you know how they say the cream always rises to the top. I totally believe that. I feel like if you're good at what you do and you, as we say in Nigeria, face your fronts, you will eventually get ahead. Even if you see other people who you think, they're playing the politics and it's working for them, it's just best to leave them to whatever messiness they're doing and just try to portray and represent yourself in the best way that you can, because reputation
I think I always come down to, being true to yourself. Also, remembering that someone's definition of success is different from yours. So, don't get caught up in someone else's definition of success and vice versa. You might want different goals for yourself than other people. So if we all follow one person's path, it might not turn out the same, which is why it's good just to be true to who you are and just stick to it. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another amazing episode of Moments Girls Talk Nigeria. We hope that you'll see you again. And always remember,
if you can think it, you can do it.